Welcome back to the shop, my friends. Steve here at SKS Props, and this is another installment in my Gears of War armor build series. In this build video, we're going to be making the pouches for Marcus's armor, which is very, very important because when you're wearing full armor, you don't always have access to your pockets. So the pouches that are on either side in the front here are fully functional. I can put my wallet, my phone, my convention badge in those and easily be able to access them. Now, just like everything else in this build, these are made completely out of my HD foam, which you can find over at Blick Art Materials. And of course, I have free PDF files available over on my website that you can download if you would like to make your own. And if you are enjoying these videos, and if you are enjoying the free PDF files, by all means, go through the links that are in the description section and those that are on my website to pick up some HD foam. When you do, it supports me, it supports the channel, and it means I get to continue to make awesome things like this and show you how to put it all together. So, I want to show you what it takes to put Marcus's pouches together. Let's go ahead and get started. I started by making a paper template specifically designed to fit the size of my phone, wallet, and badge. That ended up being part A, which is traced onto some 6mm foam, making sure to mark the creases where the foam needs to bend. The sides of the pouch are going to be made up of part B. This is traced and cut out of some 10mm foam. Part C is an additional detail layer to match the game. This is traced and cut out of 4mm foam. With all the sections cut out, I can round them over with my rotary tool and seal them with my heat gun. And notice that the crease areas have been sanded in a V shape. This will allow the foam to bend in on itself. To begin the assembly process, the bottom of two part B pieces are going to be glued onto part A. Once these have been attached, the front of the pouch can then be glued to the sides of part B. This same process is applied to the back of the pouch. A small bead of super glue is applied along the edge and then attached to the sides of part B. The part C layer detail is first only glued to the front of the flap. Then while the flap is rounded over to the front of the pouch, the back half of part C can be glued into place. This will make sure that the foam keeps this curve. The buckle detail on the front of the pouch is made up of 2, 4, and 6mm foam pieces. After all these have been cut out, they can then be sanded and heat sealed before being glued into place. Starting at the bottom of the buckle, find the middle and then work your way up. And again, this particular design is just for this Gears build, so change all these around or make your own for any costume you'd like. Part H is going to make up a strap that runs from the buckle to the back of the pouch. This is going to be traced and cut out of some 4mm foam. Two lines are scored into the foam using a hobby knife, and then a heat gun is used to open these up. This strap can now be glued into place, again making sure that the flap on the pouch is rounded over. This same process is repeated for part I, which is going to go on the front of the pouch. For an additional detail on the front, parts J and K are all cut out of 2mm foam. 3 horizontal pieces are glued to the vertical strip, and then that entire assembly can be glued to the front of the pouch. The tabs on the sides can then each be glued down, and I like using a tongue depressor to get into small intricate areas like this. For the faux rivets on this piece, a punch is once again used on some 2mm foam. For the flap on the pouch to attach to the front, I'm going to be installing some rare earth magnets that I picked up from Harbor Freight. A small section of foam is removed with a Forstner bit. This gives just enough of a depression that I can glue the magnet into place with some super glue. And because I believe in over-engineering for cosplay pieces, I ended up installing 2 magnets in the flap and the front of the pouch. The back 2 pouches won't be functional, so I ended up just gluing these shut. And of course I've got to add some texture to these to simulate a leather surface. So I heat up the foam with my heat gun and I press tin foil into it to give it a random appearance. I also took a stone bit on my rotary tool and gave it some battle damage in heavy wear areas. To seal my pouches, I'm going to be using a couple light layers of Plasti-Dip and some Krylon Red Oxide Primer. After the Plasti-Dip and primer had dried, a wash of Mars Black was applied to the entire surface using a 1-inch mop brush. For my base color, I'm going to be mixing together some Liquitex Heavy Body Neutral Gray and Raw Sienna. Dark brown, dirty down aging spray is then applied to each pouch. After the aging spray had been allowed to dry, I could then go in with a wet mop brush and apply some water to the surface. This is going to help reactivate the spray, and then I can go in with a damp paper towel to remove it from select areas. Now of course, water could continue to reactivate this spray, so I'm going to apply some Valspar flat sealant. To match the game, these pouches need to be darkened up a little bit more, so I'm going to be using some Dirty Down Black. This time around, I'm going to be a lot more specific of where I remove this spray, specifically on heavy wear edges. These Dirty Down sprays do a great job helping to age props, and if you'd like to try them out, I have an affiliate link down in the description section. After this process, these pouches also have some flat sealer applied. For the metallic sections on the pouches, I'm going to be using some Liquitex Heavy Body Rich Silver. This is going to be applied with a filbert brush to all of the buckles. To achieve the same metallic sheen as the armor, some graphite powder is going to be applied with a Q-tip to all the metallic areas. Now at this point, I felt the pouches needed a little bit more wear and tear, so I was able to go in with a sanding drum and sandpaper and rough up the edges. This helped make a textural difference between the Plasti-Dip areas and the now exposed raw foam. I could then go in with a detail brush and some watered down burnt umber. It was just enough to tint the exposed foam to look like worn leather. In the end, I'd say these did a pretty decent job simulating some faux leather pouches for this Gears of War build. So you all can see the steps that I took to put together my own functional pouches for my Gears of War armor set. And again, free templates are available over on my website. Download them, build right along with the video. And if you are building any of my builds or utilizing HD foam, be sure to tag me at SKSProps on Twitter and Instagram because I love seeing what you guys are building. Until next time, build your best with the best. HD foam.